The Bulldogs.
A lot of dogs.
It'd be funny if like they had a postseason tournament where they're like, since we have so many Bulldog names, like we need to narrow it down to one. So whoever wins gets to keep their name. You'd see the best basketball of your life. There's going to be some crazy shit. People are going to bet Eastern Washington, they lose by 10, and people are going to be like, oh my God, this team sucks. Or like Montana State blows a game, and people are like, what the, the Big Sky's trash.
I feel like I just can't take you seriously. And at the same
program.
time, yeah, it's like I simultaneously can't take you seriously, and I'm extremely interested in everything that you have to say.
That's good. That's what we need out of this stream. Okay, is that like inertia or something? There's like a
moving water requires colder energy to freeze. I can go call my mom. My mom literally lives on a river in Wisconsin.
What do we call that? Boots on
ground. Yeah. Okay, so you've got your mom's house on the under, and you've got life savings on UNLV. What else? What else can we wager? Future Kids College Fund. I mean, yeah. Well, so we're gonna double up, right? So we're gonna parlay the house and the life savings, and then we're gonna roll that through on something.
Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's. I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave and I levy. No sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do. Hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm cool. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. God slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit up my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboy Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Can I get a roll call in chat, please? Can I get a roll call? We got a few people already in here. We got CJ, we got Sick Money, Pick Six, Jacob, NFL Material says, give me a lock. That's what I'm here for. I was hoping you had a lock. We got Golden Cake, Minnesota. Did they even talk like that up there in Minnesota? We got Bexy Betts. We got Hinkle, yes, man. You know what? 7 rebounds, I think, entering the fourth, maybe. No, it was like 8, and then you got 2. That was tough. I'm still feeling good about his under for the season. We got D Smalls in the chat. How we doing, guys? How we doing? Sweet 16. How sweet it is. How are the brackets doing? What's up, Bobby? My bracket's still alive. I think I'm like 50th percentile, at least on ESPN. Run your pool. I think I'm doing decent, but Duke losing, that was crushing for my bracket, because I had Duke going to the final. So that was done. But I do still have UCLA winning it all, like Sick Money has here in chat. Still have UCLA alive, so that's positive. Oh, Kentucky. Yeah, that's a tough one right there. I already have bets in every side in every game. Yeah, I mean, T. Spencer, if you do it the right way, that's the way to do it. You don't need to put a full unit on every game, but have a little skin in the game. We have is that Cade Best, 90th percentile. Nice. Yeah, so like 10 years ago or like 8 years ago, I had one in the 100th percentile. That was pretty cool. You got to get really lucky, but hey, if you get to that spot, you just say it was skill. Unpopular opinion, MSA is priced correctly. Yeah, we'll talk about that one here in a second. So First and foremost, let me share my screen because we have unabated up on the screen. We're gonna do that. Boom. Let me get back on. Okay, I'm back. I'm back, baby. So yeah, 4 games today, of course, and then 4 tomorrow. I think the slate today, NFL material, I think it's good, not great, but I think from just a fan perspective, there's 2 really good games in my opinion, and then 2, decent games. But look, Gonzaga UCLA on paper, this is everything that you could have hoped for as a college basketball fan. Arkansas, Kansas, or sorry, Arkansas, Kansas, Arkansas, Connecticut. Sorry, Kansas fans, you had your fun last year. Arkansas, Connecticut, I think will be a pretty fun game. It seems like a lot of people are on Connecticut, but we'll talk about that one here in a second. And then, you know what? Michigan State, Kansas State. Pretty interesting. So let's first start with Michigan State and Kansas State. So last game for both these teams, they didn't play. Well, I'll put it this way. Michigan State definitely didn't shoot the 3-ball well. And I actually think both teams struggled. Let me pull this up here. I got Bart Torvik. I just want to take a look. I don't think Kansas State shot the 3 well at all. And I'm pretty sure Michigan State didn't either. Yeah, they were 5 of 21. Kansas State was. And then 2 of 16. So, you have 2 teams coming in here who did not shoot the 3-ball well at all. And I wanted to bring up the point of the new basketballs because I don't have the actual number, but unders I think are hitting close to 63, 65%. Maybe someone in chat can correct me if I'm right or wrong on that, but the unders have been smacking. And one of the reasons why I think is the new basketballs that they used for the tournament. And I don't necessarily think that the balls themselves are causing it, but I also think just the sudden change going from your whole season using, one style of basketball and then using a different style is maybe causing some bad 3-point shooting. Yeah, maybe the balls are juiced. And look, I don't want to read too much into stuff like this because I think it can just take us away from other things we need to discuss, but I've heard enough players talk about it. Mark Few had a quote talking about it. Yvette said 67%. Like, that's insane. 67. I mean, there's people out there who were blindly betting the unders, and I mean they're up fat units. So I will say though, so going back to today's games, this Michigan State Kansas State game, I think may be taking some of that into effect, but I still think the under is a decent play here. 138.5, most spots. It's dropped down to 137.5. Bookmaker has a 138. Bookmaker actually opened up at 137 and went up, but then it touched 138.5, and I think it dropped back down. Madison Square Garden, guys. Madison Square Garden is a place that is susceptible to unders since let's see the year here. Well, actually, the last 285 games played, it looks like the under has been hitting at a 57% rate. I think there's a few reasons why. I think one, maybe the atmosphere of Madison Square Garden is just totally different. You're in the city. The locker rooms are different. But I think the other part is just how the backdrop is. It's basically like almost pitch black to some extent. So it's kind of a weird shooting background that the players may not be used to. So with all those things, considering again the way these teams were shooting too, with all those things said, I do like the under here. The only thing that does scare me is if Michigan State does get hot from 3, and it could be a game where they get back on track. But I also think at the same time, like, Madison Square Garden is not the place to do that, right? So I am leaning under in this one. And I'm catching up to chat. Yes, pick six. It was great to meet you. It's so funny how your friend was gonna bet against Purdue and he didn't. And then you guys were at the tables and I was like, yo, Purdue lost. And you guys were like, what? That was pretty funny. Yeah, pick six. I think we're basically the same people we like in person as we are on stream. You're actually the third or fourth person who's told us that. Hopefully that's a compliment. Hopefully we don't suck on stream and then you're like, yeah, they were actually the same as they are in person. You know, and then I'm like, oh, I see what you're saying. No, I appreciate the compliment. And I think we have a sub bang. We got a hype train going on. We got Johnny, we got Heisenberg, Dubs. Did I miss one? Heisenberg again? Oh, wait, no, I read Heisenberg twice. Appreciate the sub bangs, everyone. Let's see here. And Bexy Betts. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Also, someone needs to gift my gal Avetta in chat a sub. She hooked us up this weekend with some seats at one of the spots at Westgate. She just commented in chat. Someone needs to hook her up, or if not, I'm gonna drop a sub bang for her and gift it to her. But no, she was great. Yeah, it was good to see a lot of people. We saw Pick Six. We saw some of the sports gambling podcast guys in person. Yeah, it was really fun to be out there in Vegas. Yes, I am quite the jackass there, Piaga. That's funny. And I'm hydrating with my Coke Zero Sugar, because zero sugar, guys. I'm very, very healthy around these neck of the woods. Also, I went 75 days without drinking, and then I drank in Vegas. And you know what? I actually felt pretty good. It wasn't like I was like blacked out or anything. Like, and I was drinking too, but I think it's because I went from the higher altitude to lower altitude, and I was fine. And also, there we go. Boom. Sick money. I knew you would come through. You're a real one. Appreciate it. Gifting the sub to Yvetta. And I'm pretty sure she's newer to Twitch too. So that's a good warm welcome for her. So anyways, let's get back to the games, guys. Michigan State, Kansas State. Again, I like the under. If we look at the spread, so numbers back to, let's see. Now, I guess it's not back to a pick 'em. It's just moving to a pick 'em. Let's see here. Bookmaker. Man, it opened up around -2 for Michigan State, and it's almost a pick 'em. What are your thoughts on that, guys? I mean, look, I think it could be a pick 'em. I'm fine with that. But I personally, I'm leaning Kansas State. There's a lot of narratives at hand. I mean, Izzo in March, that's one. Also, I believe Michigan State already played in Madison Square Garden earlier this year against Rutgers. Is that correct? Can someone fact check me on that? Michigan State, I mean, I want to get there with them, but I'm not betting either team here. I have to lean Kansas State. I have to lean Kansas State on this one. Hate to go against Izzo, but did they beat Rutgers? Not that it really matters. I'm just curious. It's a small sample size. We're talking one game here. Just kind of curious. You know what? That's something to think about, though. Like, if the players can have some confidence and just say, like, hey, we played here already. I mean, you try to ride that. Like, as a coach, you try to say, like, hey, guys, like, we played here before. Oh, they lost. So maybe that doesn't work as well, right? Like, oh, we played here before. And then they're like, coach, we lost. And then Izzo says, you don't question me because I'm Izzo. No. Shot like ass. Yeah, because Madison Square Garden, guys, it's not an easy place to score. So we'll see what happens with this line. We got about an hour or so, or 45 minutes. Yeah, they're bumping that little baby to the Final Four. That's, guys, I posted something about that, man. There's like random fans like making videos about that. People are crazy. Okay. I think we're good to move on unless anyone has any last questions on this game. But yeah, my leans here definitely going to be Kansas State. Definitely going to be the under. The under is something I have personally bet, so that's what I'm going to be on. Maybe something live. We'll see if one team gets up a little bit and I'm feeling cheeky, and I'll take maybe a live number, but we'll see. The Sparty first half ATS has been money. Tyson Walker under 3.5 assists. Little baby to baby. Yeah, thanks, low cat Carly. Look, I think if you look at their top 10 songs, I feel like the baby has some certified bangers. I really do. But I don't know. And I'm not saying that Little Baby's trash. I'm saying I was saying Da Baby over Little Baby. And Ben Palmer's like, yeah, actually they're both ass. Oh, that's funny. All right. Little Baby. No, Little Baby. Little Baby. Lil Kim. How about that? Lil Wayne. Lil Rob. There you go. Okay, enough of that. All right, let's talk about Arkansas, Connecticut. It seems like everyone's on UConn. Does anyone like Arkansas? Because I like Arkansas. I actually like Arkansas money line. Let's see what the money line's at. T. Spencer. He likes it. Loki at Carly's on it. Let's see here. The money line. 166 is the best number. Oh, wait, hold on. That's the unabated line. 165? Oh, wait, hold on. I swear there was almost like a 1 plus 180 earlier today. I don't know. A lot of people are high on Connecticut. I get it. They've looked good. But, Arkansas just took down Kansas, guys. We're going to put some respect on their name. They beat the defending champ, a good Kansas team. Grady Dick, Jalen Wilson. Arkansas is inconsistent. Yeah, they have been inconsistent. Connecticut's had not so many inconsistent up and down stretches, but they did have that stretch where I remember everyone was like, Connecticut, they're going to win it all. And then I think let me pull it up. I know they had a few games where people are like, oh, maybe Connecticut is fraudulent, but every team's going to have that. Every team's going to have a stretch where you do question them to some extent. Let's see here. So pull up Connecticut. Yeah, it was basically end of the year into the new year. They lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8. So it seems like it was somewhat isolated, and then it was only for like a month and they turned it around. But Arkansas, if we take a look at them, they're playing good ball. But they did have that Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky run to end the regular season. But I do agree. They're more up and down. They've definitely been a streaky team. Something just tells me that Arkansas is the move. And Toasty Sam's, we were definitely talking about that earlier today on the stream. Definitely an under spot. Oh, actually, maybe I got that from you on Twitter. It might have been. I saw you post something about that. And I know Kyle Hunter was talking a lot about that too. Atari Terry says first half unders are 11-4 in the Musselman tourney games. Interesting. Nick, no Nick today. He's busy with some MLB stuff. Starts next week, so we're gearing up for that. Got some really cool stuff coming up for that. What do they shoot at 3? What do they shoot the 3 at? Gotcha. Let's take a look at their actual percentage. The last game they went 3 of 15. But look, no one's really shooting well in the tournament with the new balls. Over the course of the season, they are 300th. So they're not shooting the 3 well. If they get down in this game, I'm not feeling confident about them coming back. I'll tell you that much. If Connecticut can get off to a strong lead in this one, I am not feeling good about Arkansas. But if they do get off to a lead, play ball, I think it could be a pretty good game. I'm leaning over with this one. I think it is at 140.5. Let's take a look at unabated. That's the spread. The total is at 140. Interesting. Coming down a little bit. Circa has moved this to 139.5. Bookmaker, not too much of a move. Kind of interesting though to see a 139. I guess a few spots have it. I like the over 2, Ben Palmer, but I'm not going to be betting that one. I think my best bet has to be Arkansas money line. I think at plus 165, I think it's worth a stab. I really do. The plus 4.5, maybe stay away because I think it's almost like a game where if Arkansas plays well, you just ride them with the money line and then stay away from the point spread. Even though sometimes people have a hard time understanding like why I would like or why you would like a money line over the spread and not liking the spread. And I think this is a game just with how streaky Arkansas can get. If they can get up, maybe you look at the pregame money line and hope for the best. Yeah, UConn, Sonogo, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the paint. It might be GG's for Arkansas. But look, Arkansas has some length. It's just can they muscle up? Because Sonogo right now is just he's playing really well. I mean, St. Mary's is a decent team and they have their way. So, but again, guys, let's not discredit Arkansas for beating Kansas. Kansas is a really good team, so I don't want to lose sight of that. Let's see here. If we go to the spread, 3.5, as mentioned, it is coming down a little bit. It was like 4.5. So kind of interesting. I guess 4, maybe it wasn't 4.5. Yeah, they're weighing this. Yeah, they did. It was close at half-ish, and then they brought it in the second half. I'll say this, though, guys. If you have both these teams playing their best basketball, I think Connecticut covers. So I don't know what that means, if anything, but I do think Connecticut's ceiling is a little higher. Yeah, St. Mary's definitely struggles a little bit with athleticism. Yeah, Gales is dead on arrival there. Oh, well. It was a fun run. Yeah, definitely a top 5 team with UConn's ceiling. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Last comments on Arkansas, Connecticut. Another really good game, guys. And let me bring up the trend here with T-Mobile Arena. This is, let's see here. So 23, 12, and 1 to the over. It's a sample size of 35 games. So I don't want to read too much into that. I want a bigger sample size, like for me to actually start to bet these somewhat blindly, like over unders. But they have won, or these games have gone over by an average of 5.5 points. So take that with a grain of salt. I just don't think that there's enough, again, to draw anything from that, but worth noting. It's 23-12 to the over at T-Mobile Arena. And I think they only play conference tournament games at that spot. I think the WCC might be there. No, I think we decided WCC wasn't there. I can't remember. But it's not, again, like I'm not going to put on like my stat hat here and try to act like I'm Nick, but there's just too much randomness there with a small sample size like that. So I don't think we can just, and especially too, if there's nothing there to like initially support why we think games are going over. Like with Madison Square Garden, even if we had a smaller sample size, like there are things we can say that can theorize like, oh, why the games are actually going under. And I think the shooting backdrop is probably that reason. Okay. Let's talk about Florida, Atlantic, and Tennessee. FAU, I mean, not a lot of people were expecting them to be here. Maybe some were, because they did have that side of the bracket with Purdue, and a lot of people were like, well, Purdue's going to be bounced in the second game, and it ended up being the first. But FAU, I wanted to pull up something interesting that Javon mentioned on stream today when I was on BTL. Florida Atlantic, there we are. Come on, let's load here. So if we try to think about like a team stylistically that is somewhat similar to Tennessee, it's going to be kind of hard to find on their schedule, but there is one that does play pretty slow and does rank pretty high in defense, and that's North Texas. And in that game back on December 29th, they did win, but it was a really slow game. I mean, the total score was 50-66. That was the first matchup. And then the second matchup, they won by 4. They did shoot a little bit better, but it was a home game. But it is pretty interesting that they did have their worst 3-point shooting game against North Texas, 3 of 23. It begs the question, how are they going to play against a Tennessee team that focuses on the defensive side of the ball, probably more so than offensively? I mean, Tennessee on Bart Torvik, number 1 in defensive efficiency, number 1 in 3-point defense. Now, you'll hear arguments from people that say that 3-point defense is somewhat random. I disagree. I think that different teams play different types of defenses. Some run teams off the line. It depends how teams switch on pick and rolls outside of the 3-point line. Are they going over the top? Or are they staying under? And I think Tennessee's a pretty aggressive team that, likes to guard the 3. But T. Spencer says that UNT plays pack line, which Tennessee doesn't. So my question, though, is why would you say Tennessee is – so wait, just so we're on the same page, pack line D, that like on a ball screen, are you going over the top or are you going underneath on pack line? Because I always thought that pack line is you're keeping everything kind of in front of you. So maybe that's why UNT did allow. Okay, I see what you're saying. So Tennessee's pretty aggressive. Look, I don't know if FAU is going to have success against Tennessee's defense. It's hard to say, but they are riding some confidence. I mean, Janelle Davis, he's going to have a pretty good spot, or he's going to have a pretty good game tonight. This is a spot where they really need him to show up point-wise. I like the under. I don't know about the side here. I don't know about the side. I was feeling confident with Tennessee -5 earlier. Unfortunately, I do have that bet, but the more I think about it, it's going to be a very tight spread. In a way, I almost feel like the move here is to take Florida Atlantic money line from a side perspective, but I am also on the under too. I am on the under. I'm going to ride the trend with Madison Square Garden, and I actually like how this has moved. Right Angle Sports gave this out, the under, I think in the first half, actually 61.5, maybe 61. That's why we saw maybe a move to the full game too as well. But yeah, this total has been dropping. Let's take a look at Bookmaker. Yeah, it was all the way up to 132 and then dropped down. So sharp action on the under makes sense. And specifically, first half unders, I think, are even hitting at a higher rate in Madison Square Garden. I'm showing almost 60%. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, unders. Came all this way to the Sweet 16 and we're betting unders. And low key, iCarly says go Vols. -4.5, -5. Does the first half make sense? Tennessee first half. I mean, I don't really see why the first half would make more sense than a full game, but I'm not against it. Also, FAU doing that windmill dunk too. Come on. I didn't like that. At the end of the game. I'm trying not to spite bet that, but since the under favors a closer spread, I'm going with FAU plus 5.5. You know, at this point, you should put some money on the money line. Sprinkle. A little bit of a sprinkle. But also, you know what you're doing. So I'm not trying to. The last thing I ever want to do on stream is when someone has like a good take or an idea and then I sway them off of it and then it hits. And then I'm like, shit, you shouldn't have listened to me. And then I'm like, what are we doing then? Okay. Posture check. Hydrate. You guys are keeping me nice and hydrated. Of Coke Zero. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there are no darlings like FDU. Just click the right buttons. Yeah. Guys, sports betting is easy. You just have to place the right bets and place winning bets. Like, we overcomplicate this shit. Come on. All right, next game. The game that you've all been waiting for. Gonzaga, UCLA. So let me tell you a story. 17 years ago. Some of you remember. Some of you, I hope everyone was alive for this game. If not, I'm questioning why you're watching me on stream right now. You don't have to remember the game. Like, for example, I don't think Loki iCarly remembers UCLA Gonzaga. You were probably like 3 years old. And if you do remember, you have an excellent memory, and that's incredible. I don't even think Nick remembers this game. I think Nick was doing calculus when he was 5 years old. I remember this game. I was watching it with my dad, and we were at a bar, and I remember Adam Morrison crying, and I have family who went to Gonzaga, so that was tough for us. Like, we were like, Adam Morrison was our Jesus Christ, and seeing him cry during the game wasn't even over. He was crying during the game. And we were like, we're done. We're cooked. We're caked. And that was tough. That was a tough game. Yeah, you were. Yeah, I'm sure you were low-key iCarly. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Batista, I don't know what he was doing, holding the ball like that. He had a guy underneath. He could have just passed the ball to. He's holding that ball like a loaf of bread out there. And UCLA took it. Adam Morrison, 2-time NBA champ. I thought he only had one. He had one. With the Lakers? He didn't really play. Yeah, Gus Johnson was going crazy. Gus Johnson, incredible call. Unbelievable. Anyways, classic game. 17 years ago to this day. To this day. You guys know that meme? He's like, to this day. To this day. To this day. And again, the committee 100% set this up. This was a college basketball industry plant, having those two teams in the same side to ensure that they would play this game on the same day 17 years ago. I know what you guys are doing, committee. I see your tricks. And then 2 years ago, was it 2 years? I think it was 2 years. We had Jalen Suggs with the buzzer beater. Absolutely incredible. That was a great game. That's like probably one of the top 10 tournament games. I think if you just take away the upsets, like that was a really good game. So here we are, Gonzaga, UCLA. I'm having a really hard time trying to find any sort of edge, and it's hard enough trying to find edges at this point in the Sweet 16. But my guess is probably as good as your guess. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this one. Since Nick, can you look up, and maybe someone else too? There's two injuries that UCLA has. It's Singleton, and it's also, I'm spacing his name for UCLA, but he re-aggravated his shoulder, I think, at the end of the game. I do expect both of them to play, but I mean, are we getting to the point where like UCLA is actually getting banged up? Because they had the Wilson injury before, and then now these two other injuries, like, yeah, Bona, I think his name is. So at this point, it's like, are we worried that UCLA is just not healthy? And look, if you take a look at Bookmaker, it kind of aligns with that because they were the favorite, jumped all the way up to 2.5, and now it's almost a pick 'em. I mean, it is a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em at Bookmaker. So I definitely think that some of the sharper bettors are taking that into consideration. It's hard to say how injured UCLA is, but at this point, I almost look at this like a cluster injury, like in NFL, right? I mean, you have enough injured players, you have to wonder, can Jaquez and Campbell, like, can they carry the load for 40 minutes? And I mean, both those guys are probably going to play close to 40 minutes. Wait, things you can say about UCLA injuries, and also, I missed the joke. I missed the joke. I'm sure the presentation of the joke, Nick, would have been way more better with you on stream, but that's okay. Also, if we're gonna give Drew Timmy shit, Baycott, he's the same age. He's coming back. So I'm just saying. Just saying. I just don't think people like Timmy because the mustache, right? Yeah, the side is definitely hairy. Hairy. Yeah, Nick, I have no clue. If anyone in chat knows what Nick's joke meant, please enlighten me because I have no clue. I'm sure it was a great joke. Yeah, Baycott. Baycott's coming back. Pick six got it. Well, you guys are. Wait. Oh, okay, I got you now. I was caught up. Okay. Ha 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 ha. All right. Baycott, he backed up Antoine Jameson. That's pretty good. And Tyler Hansbrough. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, UCLA is my favorite to win it all, at least entering the tournament. Gonzaga, though, seems like Gonzaga's playing with some house money. They seem pretty loose out there. Timmy's just doing his thing in the paint. Strother has been playing good. Watson's been playing good. Yeah, Baycott's getting paid, man. He's getting paid. He's going to make more money going back to college than I think he would in the NBA because I don't think he was going to get drafted first round. I mean, that's not a hot take. I don't even know about second round. I always have a hard time with like NBA draft. Like, I see players and I'm like, yeah, I think he could be a first rounder. And then I like read ESPN and it's like, oh, he's going to go undrafted. NFL, I'm pretty on top of that. Like, I can sit here and I can say Tajay Spears, like, here's where I think he goes. And I'm like, usually pretty accurate. But NBA, man, I have like no clue. It's so funny. It's like Drew Timmy. Oh, yeah, undrafted. And then even Jalen Pickett, he's not even projected to go in the first round. I like watch Jalen Pickett out there. I'm like, yeah, top 10 pick. And then people clown me on Twitter. They're like, you don't even know ball, man. He's not even getting drafted. I'm like, says who? Anyways, that was my rant. Yeah, Timmy is a tweener. Um, yeah, he's gonna make no money in the NBA. Well, I'm just watching these line moves because things are moving a little bit. Kansas State getting some late action. As far as this one, guys, I'm leaning UCLA, but this is such a coin flip. It's literally a pick 'em. If you have a confident take in chat, you can let me know. But I think this is a tight spread. As far as the total goes, I think if UCLA gets up, I think this goes under. I think if Gonzaga gets up, UCLA will speed it up a little bit. I don't really think UCLA's offensive efficiency goes that much down when they speed up. Not as much as maybe other teams like a Virginia. So that's kind of my thinking there. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I just don't know. I don't know how these teams are going to play. Like if UCLA really slows it down, like we've seen them play throughout the year, it goes under, right? But live betting opportunities, I totally agree with you. I think live betting on the total in this one is going to be the move. I would love a quick start to that game to slam a live under. Yeah. Also, I want to make sure I don't fuck this up. Is it iVeta or eVeta? Because I don't want to fuck that up. I already got made fun of in chat for saying little baby. So I don't want to be clowned on. I just saw Izzo clipboard square on Prize Pick. Hilarious. What? Is it like a meme? That's pretty funny. Hogs under. eVeta. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I was on top of that. If I ever fuck that up again, you have permission to slap me. Just pew, right outside the face. Kofi Cockburn is the best player on the team that went 6-38, 24th place. Let me pull this up. 24th place in a 24-team league in Japan. Elite college player, but not a good pro. Damn, you know what's so crazy is like he was killing it, man. He was averaging like a double-double. Teams couldn't stop him, but yeah. I just don't think he had enough touch in the paint, right? Like he had to just muscle over people. He didn't have that skill, that big man skill that you kind of need if you're going to play a big, right? Like I don't think you can be a Shaquille O'Neal anymore, right? You can't just like, hey, I'm just going to dunk over everybody. I don't think that works anymore. You got to be able to also guard the perimeter too. And I think if you put an athletic 5 and Kofi Cockburn has to guard him, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah, that's a really good point. And yeah, I think there was another player from, I think Kansas that plays for the Jazz, one of their bigs that didn't really translate. I'm spacing on who that was. Do you guys remember? It was what's his name? I'm pretty sure he went to Utah, the Jazz, and he hasn't been. I mean, he might have gotten cut. No, not Lyles. I'm not talking about Lyles. It's like 2 years ago. Anyways, it's not a big deal. No, it wasn't Noel. It was he kind of had a foreign type name. I think he was originally from Africa. Let's see here. Jazz Center, Kansas. Okay, Jazz Center, Kansas. That didn't. I pulled up the way wrong results. Now let's try Utah Jazz. Azubuike. There you go. Yeah, Azubuike, guys. Do you remember in college? Like that dude was unstoppable in the paint, and I don't think he's seen that much action. He's a fringe bench player. He's from Nigeria, but yeah, he was another one of those players, right? Like super dominant in the paint, but yeah, just offensively, and look in the paint, he's good at guarding the bigs, but you put a athletic 5 like a Porzingis out there, like Porzingis would take him for 30 points every time, you know? He still gets minutes. Yeah. Again, it's tough because, and I think the reason why he's still in the league a little bit is because he does block shots. So I think his defensive capabilities. But yeah, I mean, look, here's a statement, guys. Oh, this question, like I've had some really good conversations. People get really worked up with this question, but did Steph Curry ruin the NBA? Or did he ruin basketball? Did Steph Curry ruin basketball? And man, I'll go back and forth on this sometimes, but I don't know. Basketball's better with threes, is it? Is it? But I don't think I guess you're right. Like the coaches, it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Like were the coaches saying like, "Hey, we got to play five ball, like have 5 guys on the perimeter," or was it the players just started to do it? Right? Oh, the 4-point line is going to be crazy. I'm not hating on Steph. Steph's going to go down as the greatest shooter in the NBA, but he definitely changed the game, the NBA. Like he single-handedly changed the NBA. It's crazy. I mean, you watch basketball 10 years ago, it's a way different basketball game. I guess it's evolution, Nick, but look, is all evolution good evolution, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah, it is tough because analytics basically say, like, look, you should shoot a 3 or it should be a layup or a dunk, right? But I don't know. It's a good conversation. Maybe Nick and I will debate it sometime. Maybe we're on the same side. I don't know. I kind of compare it to the NFL implementing like spread offenses and hurry up. But the difference though is like, does anyone actually think that that is a bad way to play the game of football? Probably not. Okay. So we got about 13 minutes. Let's see what's going on with these totals. Bookmakers dropping down. Oh, actually, they went back up. They dropped down. 138 is probably the fair number here. Circa that 139.5 on Arkansas, Connecticut. Interesting. Let's take a look at the spreads. I missed the triple option, but it's the new age triple option where you can either hand it off, have a QB read, or you can throw the bubble screen. If you run that correctly, that is unstoppable because the corners can't cheat. Safeties have to kind of honor their zone. Because as soon as the safeties start coming up on like the fake handoff, you can run a little 10-yard out or even like a little bit of a fade in cover 2 with the wide receiver. So I've seen teams run that, right? The fake handoff, reading the D end, and then from there you can either run it, you can either pass it, or you could have handed it off to the running back. I missed the NBA when dunking was illegal. The NBA used to not have a 3-point line. Maybe we should go back to those days. I think if there's no 3-point line, the Nuggets would be the clear-cut favorite to win the NBA championship. No 3, Jokic would just dominate. It would be beautiful. So Prize Picks Poppy says Kansas State is 1.5 on. So hold on. Did this flipped, huh? This shit flipped. We did a full 180 here. Would you look at that? Yeah, I missed the peach baskets, guys. But no, that's pretty crazy, guys. I mean, look. We went from a 1.5, actually a 2. And let's see where that happened. That happened basically, it happened around 3:50, so about 30 minutes ago. And it moved from the PK to Kansas State, and it's continually moving. It looks like it's getting juiced to -1. Yeah, late money coming in. It was Evan bet it. Who did it? Who did it? Oh, Nick, it's okay. Nick, I'm telling you, when they started saying Jokic stat padded, he was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm not even gonna try to get triple doubles anymore. Oh my god, look at the screen. Lighten up. Let's see what else is going on here. I guess I can do combined so you can see both. Also let me put this on here. Boom. Shout out Unabated, by the way, guys. If you haven't already, you need to check out Unabated. Nick, do we have a command for Unabated? Do we have a command? Well, I know we have a command. Is it working is the question. If not, just go to unabated.com. The Sharps out here on Tennessee. I like Tennessee. I don't like Rick Barnes, but I like Tennessee. Embiid a beast, though. Yeah, didn't Embiid get hurt? All right, chat. I gotta know. What is your best bet of the day, chat? Best bet of the day can be first half, can be full game, total. You name it. Let me know your best bet. And it can even be a Prize Picks prop or FanDuel prop or whatever. Atari's on FAU. Nick's best bet of the day is Unabated. That's a great best bet. Just kidding, Nick. Thank you for getting that command. Hauser under. Okay. Sonogo over. Jets and Reg. Yeah. There you go. Nick will appreciate that joke. Parlay all the games, no overtime, and put a rack on it. Oh, you know what I wanted to show you guys? I wanted to pull this up because first and foremost, I don't really like to out anyone on social media unless they like say something like really stupid. And this is loading. But there was someone, I'm not going to say their name. You can find them on TikTok. They basically bet every game, straight bet, to go to overtime. Well, unfortunately, how many games have we had? 32 plus 16, I guess. 48 games have not gone into OT. But I'm sure we could calculate this if I asked Nick. The number of games to go into overtime in the Sweet 16 round. So there's 8 games. And you definitely could do the implied math and figure out like what the implied odds could be or should be. I feel like we're going to get an OT game. Could be today, could be tomorrow, but at least with today's games, the spreads are really close. I mean, we have, let's see here. And look at that. Look at that. Arkansas -3.5 at most spots now, even at Bookmaker. But anyways, kind of interesting. No games to go in OT. Right? Yep. DraftKings has all sorts of random props here. New to sports betting. Yes, I am. I should say I'm new to sports betting and see if they give me well, that wouldn't work because they would see that I've been betting for a while. Okay, anyways, seed number to win NCAA tournament. Exact sum of the final 4 seeds. This one's kind of fun. But it's hard. You have to hit exactly. It's almost like you're just trying to pick which 4 teams are going to make it. Okay, what about this one? Sum of the final 4 seeds. Over 13.5, under 13.5. Let's see. We got Princeton. What else do we got? We got I guess Miami's a higher seed. I guess I should say lower seed, higher number. A 6 from Creighton. Okay. There's also the largest seed to reach the Final Four, which is kind of interesting. Number 1 seed to win the tournament. Yes, plus 150. So Houston, Alabama still remaining. No is basically the field. Minus 185. And the exact number of 1 seeds. You know, this is interesting. I almost feel like 1 is a good value. But then they both get through and then it doesn't hit. Got conference wins. You got advanced further between Alabama and Houston. What about this one? This is fun. But it's a one-sided market. Any buzzer beater in the Sweet 16 shot to give team win as time expires. No chance for opponent inbound. Yeah, it's only 10-1 though. Shot to. Oh, so the team, it has to go in. It can't just be a shot miss. It has to be a shot to win. Any buzzer beater in the tournament, shot to give team win as time expires. No chance. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of value there. And the last thing I wanted to look at is some futures. See where things stand right now. We'll just use DraftKings since it's up. Alabama, Houston, UCLA, Connecticut, the top 4. Look at Arkansas. Look at Arkansas 35-1. Look at Miami 45-1. No one ever will give Miami the respect they deserve. But look, until you win it all, I don't think you get that respect. Look at Gonzaga. I mean, the way people talk about Gonzaga, I think until they win a championship, they're always going to be looked at as a team that plays in the WCC and doesn't have enough competition on the schedule, right? Like that's always the narrative. About 2 minutes. Let's see here. Bookmaker has a -1. It's juiced. Kansas State. Yeah, so Kansas State, now the favorite. Maybe Rico Bosco's motivational little baby pregame. Was it even a speech? Maybe that got people fired up. Because look at this. It's moved 2 points. Okay. I am gonna call it. Should we raid Owner's Box? I just saw they went live. But I also want to make sure they're like live. Someone let me know. Are they live or are they live? I feel like they're just live. Let's see. Starting soon. Ooh, yeah. Should I tease the new feature, Nick? I'll tease it. I'll tease it a little bit. So baseball season right around the corner, and people love to bet props. We'll put it that way. I think there's numbers that show the growth of props, player props, not only in baseball, NFL, basketball, you name it. So what Nick and I have been working on, it's been a long time coming. It's a lot of work behind the scenes, but we're basically going to have a tool that can help you kind of figure out potentially when a good play would be in an SGP, right? You'll be able to get an idea to say like, hey, I like this SGP on, whatever sports book you're using. And then you can use our tool to see if there is correlation or maybe there isn't correlation, right? Because I think a lot of times when people are building SGPs, it's based on a lot of emotion. And I think that's just the best way to do it because there's nothing out there really that lets you do otherwise. So the whole goal of this is just to have something where you can go to say like, hey, let's say the game is going to go over. How does that affect the rest of the simulations and the player props? Vice versa, you could say like, I think Ohtani is going to hit, for 2 RBIs or have a home run. Like, how does that actually change the final score? So I think we're going to be able to find some edges in the prop market, the SGP market, and I'm really looking forward to that. So Nick's working hard, getting that live, and hopefully we have it ready next week to some extent. If not, it may be 2 weeks, but either way, we're working hard on it. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. Yep. Input your narrative. That's a good way to put it. Rich A Parlay, we will do that next week. Next week, I really think I found some good stuff. So, let me get this raid fired up. Let's see here. Shout out Owner's Box, friends of the program. /raid, and then it's Owner's Box. Oh, Owner's Box Sports. Sparty tipped off. All right. I appreciate you guys. Hop in the Discord too to continue the conversation. K-State first basket. Okay. We have 25 of us ready to raid. So go show the Owner's Box crew some love and also ask them what Sir's punishment was too, because I think he had to spin the wheel punishment. So, all right, guys, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you tomorrow, same time to cover Friday's games. See ya.